So, who remembers one of these? That's right, it's a Dior front derailleur, a mountain bike front derailleur. A very rare sight now on a mountain bike, a front derailleur, in these days of modern one-by drivetrains. But it's the next thing to become extinct, the mountain bike rear derailleur. And the reason I ask is because we're starting to see the emergence now of Gearbox bikes. And you'll see one in the thumbnail. I've put a picture of the Aon Gearbox bike in the thumbnail. So basically, no rear mech, a belt driven system, one cog at the rear, and then a centrally mounted gearbox in the middle of the bike that handles the gear shifting. At the moment, it seems to be a thing that they're looking at for downhill racing. There's a lot of investment in it for downhill in the coming seasons, because there is, I think there is a cash incentive now for the first team that wins a downhill World Cup on a gearbox bike. So that's kind of pushed things forwards a bit, and these things that have been in development for a while have kind of been moved on quite quickly now, and these gearbox bikes are starting to appear. So yeah, center gearbox in the middle of the bike, the crank area of the bike, reserved for downhill at the moment, I would say, because of the weight. It's going to be quite a weighty thing, the gearbox, in comparison with the conventional derailleur drive system. So it may be a while before we see anything like this on trail bikes or that kind of general use mountain bike. But yeah, it's obviously something that's been coming for a while. Honda tried it back in the 90s, and I think they did win a couple of World Cups, and they had limited success with it. But yeah, to see the belt drive gearboxes back now is really interesting. It's obviously an area of ongoing development. The Aon bike, everything I've seen, it looks fantastic, really does. So is that the future? Are we going to be seeing the end of the, along with the long gone front mech, mountain bike front mech, are we going to see the end of the rear mech, the rear derailleur on your mountain bike? Obviously these things don't happen overnight, so don't panic. But it's interesting. Have a little look at, have a little search for gearbox bikes. The Aons aren't the only ones that are developing something. There's a few different brands that are looking at developing something, and it's really interesting stuff. It really is worth a look. It makes so much sense to have that clean drive line. You've got your belt, and you've got your just single cog on the back then for the belt. You know, there's nothing vulnerable on the outside of the bike, because the rear mech is obviously, even with these new invincible universal derailleur hangers, you know, it is a susceptible part. It's the most susceptible part of the bike to damage, just from where it is on the bike, really, its position, and you know, it takes a lot of abuse. So yeah, having all that enclosed would make a lot of sense. And as I say, it's been tried before back in the 90s, and for whatever reason it never became a mainstream thing. But this time round, the big boys are really interested in having a go at this, and I think we're going to probably see a World Cup win on one. And then for downhill, at least, I think it could become the new thing, the new standard, the new top end standard at least. But let me know what you think. Are you a fan of the gearbox bike? Are you a fan of Save the Rear Mech, which is going to be the next campaign? And you know, would you be interested in buying one?